Hello, everyone, and welcome. We've got a Division One matchup between two Titan teams, Mizzou and UChicago. This is a big one. Mizzou won the finals back in season two, and UChicago won back in season three. So now we are in season six. Both these teams looking to go all the way to the playoffs and make it pretty deep again. So let's see what's at stake here. We've got, of course, a total prize pool of $30,000 on the line. This is determined in playoffs. Right now, we are in round 3 out of 7 of the regular season. This determines the playoff standings. So there's a lot at stake here. This could be the difference between, number 1 seed or number 2 seed, or even number 2 versus number 3, which means playing an extra round if you need to in the playoffs. The top 2 seeds make it to the quarterfinals automatically. So you can see the top 6 teams in each group make it to the playoffs. The bottom 2 are eliminated. So this is obviously a pretty big deal. And of course, this is a rivalry match. This is Chicago versus Missouri. They don't really like each other that much. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Of course, UChicago, they've got 2 grandmasters on their team, and Mizzou also has a couple grandmasters of their own. So let's see what's going to happen here. All right, speaking of grandmasters, we see round 1. We've got Oparin versus William here. Oparin doesn't really need much of an introduction. Very famous chess player. Might be the first match he's playing this season. He doesn't play every week for Mizzou, but of course this is a big matchup. So he's up against William Hugh from UChicago, also known as Song Song. You can see Oparin's at 2952, pretty close to 3,000. Not quite there, but pretty good. Pretty good. Not too bad. Just a casual 700 rating, higher than your opponent at 2200. So yeah, that's top board for Mizzou. Let's check in on a grandmaster from UChicago. Here we've got Praveen Balakrishnan up against Crazy Girl, also known as Begim from Mizzou. So Praveen's at 2849 and Begim's at 2500. So a bit closer in terms of rating. I see we've got another grandmaster here. We've got grandmasters on every board. Hey, I see William in the chat. Good to see you. Hope your streams have been going well. I feel like William could have been a commentator perhaps for something like this. Let's give a shout out to our good friend Mr. Greif. Definitely go check him out. Hello UMass, hello Brody, hello Chess Java. Good to see you all tuning in. You paused the C Squared podcast to watch this. Well, it might be interesting to note that one of the hosts of the C Squared podcast, Christian Trilla, he is actually the coach of Mizzou. So yeah, you're getting a lot of Christian content today, if you would consider this that. But yeah, here we've got Raja from Mizzou up against Wizard Bar, also known as Kapil Chandran. So yeah, let me see if we've got the 4th game started. Of course, we all know UChicago has not just one grandmaster, but 2 grandmasters. A Wonder Liang. I'm not sure where the game is yet, but hoping he'll tune in soon. Alejandro Ramirez is the coach for SLU, St. Louis University. 2 different teams for sure. So don't wanna get them confused. All right. So I think for now we should stick with one of the games. Which one shall we look at? All right, so I think we stick with Oparin. Why not? All right, so Oparin looks like he's induced some kingside weaknesses. We've had a light square bishop traded off. This rook's still stuck in the corner. The bishop hasn't developed yet. Bishop defending the pawn. The queen's also defending the pawn, but if the bishop moves, then the queen is blocked. So might not be the best position here for white, but e4, this comes with a discovery, a nice solid move here from William. And this bishop perhaps now can develop such that it doesn't block the queen. Now, Oparin is up 2 minutes over William, so going to be kind of a uphill battle for white to fight here, but trading on f5, this is helpful. And the bishop comes out with tempo, immediately knocked down with the move e5. So a nice move here from Oparin. And yeah, now the rooks are connected. Black trying to dislodge the knight, trying to open the b file. So this last pawn push, it blocks the bishop, but it also blocks black's bishop. So this a pawn was given up to take the b pawn. This gives black activity along the second. So this other rook might come in and join the party. Here we have rook f2 immediately contests the second rank. Rook steps back, hitting the knight. Knight retreats back, and now looking for a trade here. This is an outside pass pawn, so slight edge for white, but the time difference could be a problem later. All right, I do see we have the fourth game started. We've got Lucky Luca against Red Nova. That is a Wonder Liang from UChicago against Luca. Let me try to pronounce this last name here. Budisavljevic. Yeah, we'll stick with that. That's my go, and we're sticking with it. So a wonder at 29.75. He's the highest rated player out of all of these players, and he's playing up against a grandmaster here in round one. All right, so Wonder's got the black pieces. He's already castled. He's pushed h5, which is interesting. All right, c5 on the board, contesting the center. Pawn takes, knight takes. So a Wonder's left with the isolated d pawn. Luca doesn't save the light square bishop, which is interesting to me. Typically, I'd imagine the bishop tucks back, which is pretty good when you can line up this battery with the queen. So a Wonder, does he take the bishop or not? Luca just playing h3. So this game has just started. Maybe we keep an eye on Grigory while he's got his opponent under 30 seconds here. So the a pawn is hit. If the bishop moves, the rook will defend it. So that's exactly what we see. Oparin, he's just he's pressing the clock here. Material is even, but well, actually it's not. White's up a pawn, but the h pawn is falling. So let's see, knight to c5, probably going to d7 is my guess. All right, this move pins the knight to the bishop, so the bishop moves to defend the knight. This alleviates the pressure on the e pawn. Black can take the pawn on the h file if they want, but that pawn's not going anywhere. So we see the bishop going back to f8, putting more pressure on the knight. Knight moves to the edge of the board, hitting the rook, defending the bishop. If takes, we could take the rook, but then there's takes here. And I don't know what's happening. So Oparin decides to go back, retreat, allow the trade, recaptures with the rook. If king takes, there's rook check. Oh, man. Rook check, there's only 2 legal moves, so king steps out of there. We can push with check again. The knight decides to come back. Rook is hit. So white is up a pawn, but they're all isolated and weak. Rook here would defend this. Knight here just trying to trade off, but yeah, losing the h-pawn. Is this going to be a draw? This would be a huge upset in favor of UChicago. But of course, Oparin's going to continue the fight. This pawn is going to go, but this pawn is running. This pawn is fast. Oh, rook here, allowing for this. I don't know what the win was. The eval bar shot up. White had a chance to win there. Let's see, what was it? After this, the move is rook to d3. That traps the rook, and this pawn is promoting. Both players missed that. Crazy opportunity. So now what's going on? This pawn stopped by the rook. Very low time for William. And now Oparin's going to try to push these pawns through. All right. King e3, right? King back. Okay, we have a result. Praveen takes down Begim. So let's see what happened here. Isolated d-pawn for white. Trade takes with check. Lined up here. Bishop takes. Rook hits the queen. Going after the bishop. Takes here. Bishop back. Bishop back. Queen check. Win the b-pawn. Lined up here. Bishop here. Wow, that wins in exchange for Praveen. Nice tactics. And yeah, it just converts from there. So, nice game. We have a draw between Oparin and William. That's a huge upset. Let's start putting in some scores. Half and half. Praveen with the point. So Chicago with the lead. Here we have Raja versus Wizard Bar Kapil. Both players under 15 seconds. Black is up a knight, but white can take and take, right? But the pawn difference is too big. So yeah, that's another upset win. A win for Chicago, for Kapil. And now we have a Wonder versus Lucky Luca. And let's see how this game has gone so far. So not taking the light square bishop. Trading here and playing f4. This is a beautiful piece. White is just trying to open everything up against this king, right? Trying to just tear apart a Wonder's position. So if a Wonder wins this, Chicago will start with a 3.5 to a half against Mizzou, which is really something. Also, I like that this pawn could have been taken, but oh no, sorry, I missed that. All right, there's a rook in the way. Easy part. Yeah, I mean, William, what a game from him, man. A draw against 2950 plus. Oparin. Williams at 2200. So not too shabby. Not too bad of a start. My apartment is just so bright right now. I need to turn this down. All right, that's better. A Wonder exclusively plays from lost positions. See, this is the kind of commentary that we could have had William provide. Okay, so what ended up happening here? Pawn push, bishop here, threatening e3. So bishop back, hitting the queen. Queen over. And now we could have taken the g pawn, but Luca wants to double the rooks first. Oh, that's a gnarly move there with the queen and bishop. Take and take or something. So Luca missing some opportunities, but he's got a ton of time against the Wonder. Position's still looking pretty good for white. It's just about conversion here. But we've seen Luca is he's not playing the optimal moves here. So potentially allowing a Wonder to stay in it. We'll see. I mean, it's very difficult to play in a tight position like this with such little time. Luca, I think, is just continually playing solid moves, right? Doesn't have to risk anything. Slowly but surely just grabbing space away from a Wonder. And I think trying to rely on a Wonder to make mistakes in time pressure. Now, whether or not that's a good idea, I don't know. A Wonder's trying to trade off this light square bishop, which I think is a good choice, right? When you're under siege like this, you're under attack, trading material off is helpful. So even though a Wonder gets a bad pawn structure out of it, with that bishop off the board, it allows a Wonder to get a little bit more breathing room. And here a Wonder continuing to try and trade down more of these attacking pieces, right? So Luca shuts that down, says, no, thank you. I'm going to put my pawn on f6, but lo and behold, that's going to block the f file that Luca's put every single heavy piece on. So earlier, he had an opportunity to take on g6. Now, that opportunity is gone for the sake of keeping material on the board. So here we go. Knight takes on b5. Luca is taking material. But a Wonder is trying to still unwind here. Luca trying to trade off this rook. I don't know where else it's going to go. The knight on h7. Not a Wonder's best piece. But later on, it can go to f8 like it's just done. It's looking to go to e6. Put some pressure on Luca's bishop. Queen f3, pressure on the d-pawn. That isolated d-pawn is a target. It is being attacked by the knights and the queen, and if the bishop moves, by the rook as well. Looks like the knight wants to reroute to f4. A sensible decision. A Wonder getting below 5 seconds there. There is increment. All right, he can take on d5, and he does so. There's knight e7 check. What else? Bishop back to c3. King steps away. Pawn push. Knight over. Attacking the e-pawn. Luca's in time pressure now. The e-pawn continues to push. 2 seconds for a Wonder. He brings the knight back. Knight in. Wait, the computer hates this. Bishop check. Oh my goodness, the swindle. There it is. Luca moves the knight and he blunders mate with the rook check. It was defended, but bishop e3 check was not. Queen takes. Oh man. So with that, Chicago 3.5 to a half after round 1. So, just like I said, Luca missed some opportunities and in the time pressure got swindled by a blunder. So, a Wonder capitalizing on the opportunity, getting a win, and setting a steep hill for Mizzou to climb after round 1 there. All right, let's see how Mizzou responds to that. I wonder finishing with the classic 6.9 seconds left on the clock, timed perfectly by design. Just a wonder things. All right, round 2. Here we go. Praveen versus Oparin. He's getting sushi right now. Okay. Wait, a wonder's playing from his phone? Is that right? Sounds nice. You know, just some classic a wonder. All right, what do we have here? A Nimzo Indian defense. So, what was wrong with this? I don't know. Is that not a thing? I don't know the theory. Unlimited sushi. And you wonder where a wonder gets his powers from. All right, so Praveen is up a pawn, but his pawn structure is not the best. Pawns splattered everywhere across the queen side. Knight attacking his queen. So either take the knight or move the queen. You gotta move the queen anyways, eventually. So probably queen a4. You also have like queen b2, maybe. Praveen's castled already. Oparin has not. Did I say Praveen's pawns are bad? It's Oparin's pawns. My apologies. So Oparin, he's the only player from Mizzou to get a point. Well, it was a half point, but any points. So Mizzou did avoid the sweep. He brings his queen back to b1. Still needs to get castled. Praveen needs to develop the light square bishop. So maybe bishop d7. Instead goes for e5. The bishop wants to see further. Wants to go to e6. Likely. Let's see. We also have a wonder versus Raja. And I wonder's thinking here. He has less time than Raja, not by much, but just enough. Typically a wonder plays super fast out of the opening, but maybe slowed down by his sushi consumption. I can only speculate. Now I think that this looks like a good position for Raja. This pawn on h5 perhaps has strayed too far from home. To defend it, you'd have to go bishop to f3, but queen b3 instead played, creating a counter threat. Perhaps defending this would be a good response here from Raja, pushing the pawn, pushing the queen. Sometimes, though, the h pawn is a poison pawn. You know, a lot of activity can be gained from opening a file. Raja says, hey, let's trade queens. And don't take my b pawn. In fact, give me a second b pawn. I'll take 2. What does a wonder say to this? A wonder might ignore it and say, you take me, and I'll take back with my knight. Queen b here, queen b3 here doesn't, or queen b6 doesn't necessarily have any threats along with it. Just defending the pawn and offering the queen trade. We see a capture on d5. This might distract the knight, right? White has a lot here. Black might initiate the trade. Maybe it's a wonder that wants to take with their a pawn to activate the rook. So, do you trade queens first and then recapture, or do you recapture right away? That's what Raj is thinking about right now. Let's check in with Oparin. He is way low on time. Under 2 minutes compared to Praveen's 4 minutes. So a 2-minute advantage for Praveen in a 5-minute game. That is significant. All right, so knight to b3. What's going on with this move? Is bishop a4 a move? Queen c2. Okay, defending the c pawn. Yes. Classic. And perhaps threatening c4? Is that a thing? It might be. Because the if the knight on a5 moves, then the rook on, or the knight on b3 would fall. So let's see, doubling the rooks on the b file. So x-raying the pawn on b7, also just threatening to, would you take 3 minor pieces for 2 rooks? That would be very interesting. Of course, 2 minor pieces are better than 1 rook for the most part. If you count the material, 3 minor pieces is 9, 2 rooks are 10. But I don't know how much the default material counter is really weighing in these kinds of positions. So I guess Oparin has a chance or an opportunity to trade down here. 3 pieces are usually better than a queen. I actually disagree with that. I think that like by counting the material, it's even, right? It's 9 and 9, but I think it depends. It always depends on the coordination, right? People say like, oh, 2 rooks better than a queen. Depends. If the rooks are coordinated, then yeah. But if not, they can be susceptible to forks, skewers, blunders. Same with the 3 minor pieces, right? These 2 knights kind of on the edge of the board. They're connected, so that's good. But it's not so clear. It's not so clear. Oparin is so low on time. This is very interesting to see if Praveen can convert the time pressure. Let's check on Luca. Luca played a solid game against a wonder, but fell in the end to a blunder. Now we have Kapil, less than 10 seconds, against lucky Luca with 3 minutes. Huge time difference. Luca trying to trade queens. Kapil saying, no thank you. I need to keep the attack going. Kapil has a safer king. Look at Luca's king on b7. Completely exposed. Luca insisting on the queen trade. Would Luca go back queen f8? And would Kapil go back to d4? Probably. I think Luca should play for the win here, right? Even though the king is more exposed, the time difference, I think, says it all. Let's look on the last game we haven't looked at. This is Begim against William. So William just had a super solid game against Oparn, holding a draw. And now it looks like Begim pulling out some tricks here. It's a bishop pair versus a rook. And if there are two minor pieces that are better than a rook, it's the bishop pair. So that king has 0 legal moves, completely cut off. Bishop takes on d5. Yeah, looking really good for Begim. So she should be able to bounce back from her first round loss. Let's check back in with a wonder. We're going through all these games like an all-you-can-eat buffet. All right, so Raja connecting the rooks, bishop fianchetto on the long diagonal. Now I'm wondering if we can take on e5. Probably we lose the e pawn back. It is doubled, so it's not that bad, but I wonder's looking for more here, potentially. What's the material count right now? Looks like pawns are even, but Raja's got the 2-on-1 majority on the outside. Good news for a wonder is if black gets a passed a pawn, the bishop is the wrong color square. Okay, knight to c5, taking advantage of the pen, saying, I don't like that you have this bishop. So let's take that off the board. Raja says, you know what? I'm going to keep the bishop because I know you don't like it. I'm going to go here and go after your h-pawn that maybe I could have taken earlier but didn't. But now that the queens are traded off, maybe it's a bit safer. Okay, we've got a result. Praveen takes down Oparn. So Oparn has a rough start. And yeah, Oparn was pretty slow out of this opening. Kind of awkward for his rooks just to be locked down by these knights. So he never pulled the trigger and traded. Ended up losing a pawn. Oh, and he just blunders a rook here. That's not what you want to see. That is unfortunate in time pressure. So Praveen adding on to the already sizable lead advantage for Chicago. This pawn is promoting. So let's see. We had a queen sacrifice. The h pawn is running for Kapil. Queen takes rook. Yeah. Queen check. So Kapil is just up a rook now. But look at the time. I said earlier Lucas should go for the win. But okay, well, okay, the c pawn is pretty deep. Hold up. Ah, queen back to f4, a nice defensive resource, utilizing the check to come back and defend the rook. So, all right, it's not over yet. Queen, what's the queen doing here exactly? Like, the knight's defended by the queen. The pawn on c7 is defended by the knight. Okay, there goes the c pawn. And that bishop on e5, look at this beast. It's defending the check or the promotion. It's supporting their own. It's attacking the king. There's going to go the other pawn. So yeah, Kapil played this perfectly in time pressure, just mopping up every single piece. He's threatening checkmate, by the way. So there's a couple checks, but he's surviving them. Last check to give. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the game. So Luca's going to lose 2 in a row to the Chicago players. Couple last checks. Queen block, pawn push. There's rook check, maybe? No. Look at how Kapil is just mopping up every piece. Queen check. That's going to be it. Or queen check here, better yet. Okay, not trading queens off. All right, there it is. Anyways, all right, Kapil with the win. Let's check on a wonder. He's under 5 seconds against Raja. So Kapil also 2 for 2. I believe Crazy Girl should win her game. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, she's crushing. Bishop pair versus a rook, and she's got an extra pawn as well. Let's keep an eye on a wonder now. Let's see what's happening in this one. So, slight edge to black. It's a bishop versus a knight. A wonder's king is completely cut off. The knight is there in time to defend the pawn, but Raja's king is sneaking up the board. Uh-oh. It liked the move king to c3. King to c3 there, apparently. Bishop here. Bishop takes on e4 as a move. Rook check. King back. Threatening checkmate on g1. Check. King can take. Another check. The knight is hit. 1 second for a wonder. He defends the knight. Still 1 second. He's pushed back. He's trying to hold on, but yeah, another mate threat averted. Check. I mean, he's not putting a wonder away. But it's looking pretty bleak. Rook check. Yeah, just don't go to g5. Right? Rook g6 would have won the rook there, so there's still so many tricks in the position somehow. Okay, there goes the f-pawn. Check. Back. Pawn push. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. A wonder's winning the bishop. Unbelievable. Oh my word, he's doing it. The comeback kid. Oh my goodness. The boy a wonder. All right, 3 pawns versus a knight. This game is still not over. Both players less than 10 seconds. Check, that's a fork of the exchange. Rook check, and there's still 2 pawns versus a rook. I don't know what's happening. Rook f7 is going to force the king back. Hold up. King e4? I don't know. Check, check. King h2? I mean, they're just going to repeat. Okay, king h2. So you can't stop the queen. And now you have to intercept the pawn. All right, it's a draw. Wow, what a game. Okay, I wonder he loses his win streak, but he holds on to a crazy position there. Raja gets on the board. So is that another 3? No, Begim won her game. Okay. So 4th board for Mizzou is leading their points. A better round for them, but they're down by even more now. They're down by 4 points. So Chicago, they win back-to-back rounds. And Mizzou has a huge hill to climb in the second half of this match. So first half in the books, 6-2 score for Chicago. Also, you guys, I posted a Twitter. I tweeted a poll for who's going to win. I actually voted for Chicago. I was the first vote. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I should have done a poll in the Twitch chat, perhaps. But yeah, game not over yet. Not quite in the books. Still some work to be done. Chicago, though, they only need 2.5 points out of the next 8 games. I think they can do it. But Mizzou, they're not going to give up just yet. They're going to put up a fight to the very end. So let's see how this goes. Wonder's phone is on 3%. So he only has 2 games left. He needs 1.5% per game. It depends on the phone. I think he could do it. Let's see. We've got Oparn versus Wizard Bar. Oparn still hasn't gotten a point out of the first 2 games, which is wild to me. He's going to try to get something out of Kapil here. Let's check on Praveen versus Luca, the 2 grandmasters. So Praveen, he's been flawless so far. He's 2 for 2. Same with Kapil. Oparn's going to try to put a stop to Kapil's win streak. Praveen just developing the knight, not dealing with this threat. Gonna bring the bishop out eventually and try to get castled. Open A file for Luca. How did this game go about? Let's see. Okay, a gambit. So Praveen up a pawn. A Wonder's game has yet to start. All right, taking the bishop pair. Queen takes, surely. No, knight takes. Okay. Looking to get to e4 in combination with the pawn on e5. Going to be a strong post. This g pawn is hanging. Rook here and takes here. Very interesting. Can't challenge. So he needs to be playing Begim. So I don't know. All right, there it is. They started. All right, all 4 games here underway. Computer did not like that move. Let's see. So what's the issue here? Ooh, knight c4. It likes, apparently. So knight c6, very natural development move from Luca, just attacking the e-pawn. Right? Okay, so I see now why the knight takes back so that the queen can come out. Huh. Well, now Luca can't castle. So do I have the stats command set up here? I do. Yep, your best is your current, 1768. Very nice. All right, so Praveen's looking good. Let's check on Oparn again. Oparn, he's building up a time advantage. But his pawn structure is kind of interesting. His king side pawns are pushed, and he's continuing to push them. He's getting ready to push for e5, it seems. But he also has the passed a pawn, which is interesting. So material is technically even. That a pawn, could it be a weakness? Looks like Kapil thinks so and is going to go for it. Oparin has a discovery along the long diagonal, but the issue is that Kapil can close it with d5 if Oparin ever pushes e5. He does go for e5. I'm expecting d5. It's been played. And we have f5 immediately, going after the base of the pawn structure, e6. Is that going to be enough? Kapil can take on a5 now, right? This pawn on e6 can be taken, but it is defended twice. The knight on c5 defends backwards. Oparin says, no, didn't want to take that. I wanted to push f6. Another gambit. Kapil doesn't accept. He puts his bishop back on f8, a defensive move. Pawn takes. Knight steps back. And where is the knight going? The knight's going to h5. In 2 moves. That's the plan. Nobody looks at rapid, bro. No, I might add that later. Who knows? Yeah, Oparin, he's up over 2 minutes over Kapil, and he's bringing the heat. Knight to h5 is not going to be pretty. Let's check in with Raja. We haven't looked at this one against William. William's been playing well. He lost his last round, but he did get the draw against Oparin. Now he's playing against Raja, and it looks like his pawn structure is worse. He is up a pawn. He could be up 2 pawns. But the issue might be that the rooks check him too much. Yeah, so like a rook on the second or a rook on the g file, that's going to hurt. So William defensively retreats back. We could still see rook g6 check. Because William's g pawn is missing. His structure is not very good. All right, going after the a pawn. So if the a pawn falls, black is going to have 2 connected passed pawns on the outside. Doesn't get much better than that. William decides to take on f7. Rook to f6, so not taking the a pawn right away. Trying to trade off this rook. Maybe not allowing for white to double on the 7th. So that would be kind of tough to deal with. So, all right, let's check in with Kapil. He's got 6 seconds. Absolutely crazy. So the knight made it to h5 and ended up trading for that bishop. That bishop was a strong defender of the dark squares. Now we have rooks doubled on the f file. Where's the knockout for Oparin? I feel like, ooh, bishop c1, and he finds it, a discovery on the rook, and queen takes h6. This is going to be lights out. Bishop up, hitting the queen. I mean, yeah, that's just that's game over. Resign. So Oparin finally gets on the board. Kapil gets his first loss of the match. All right, so Mizzou cutting the lead down to just 3. There's 3 games left, though. How's William doing against Raja? William apparently has the better position. But how so? Rook h2. So the h pawn is going to run. Rook check. Velcro dot with the rate of 32. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome, everyone. Hey, what's up, Bullet Mercenary? Good to see you as well. For those of you just joining, this is the Collegiate Chess League. This is Mizzou versus UChicago. These 2 teams are some of the best in the league. The league format, it's 4 players per team. It's an all play all blitz time control, 5+2. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Shout out to Velcro Dot. So how does the league work? Well, we had a team registration deadline a couple weeks ago. This is round 3 out of 7 of the regular season. We had 220 teams register, and we placed them by their average team rating. So once we have all the teams listed by their strength, we put them into divisions. So this is Division 1. Top 16 teams out of the 220 are in D1. So these are some of the best teams in the entire league. But the good thing about divisions is that your team gets placed against other teams of similar rating. So anyone and everyone's welcome to play. And yeah, this is UChicago versus Mizzou. These are some of the best teams in the entire league. This is season 6. Mizzou won in season 2, and Chicago won in season 3. So both of these teams are not strangers to winning. They are seasoned veterans at this point. Here we're watching Raja, Grandmaster from Mizzou, taking on William Hugh, also known as Song Song from UChicago. They're board 4. And he had a draw in the first round against Grandmaster Grigori Oparin. He's way down on the clock here. He's been living on the increment. There is 2-second increment. Black's looking to create a passed pawn here. This check is going to win the F pawn maybe, unless the king goes to F4. Raja's thinking about it here, deciding, do I take the pawn? Do I go to F4? What's the deal? If here, I mean, I'm guessing this, and if takes, there's takes. And the king, if the king gets here, this is kind of dangerous. So the king does go here. We do see rook h1. And this king wants to come here. That's it. This pawn wants to get pushed through. Black can try to make a pass pawn of their own. It might be too slow. Computer says it's a draw, of course, because everything's just dead even with perfect play. Yeah, they might just settle on a repetition here. King back just makes the most sense, right? You don't want to allow the king in. And Chess Java agrees with the assessment. All right, there's the draw. Let's check in with Praveen versus Luca. Luca, a new grandmaster on the Mizzou team. Forcing a queen trade here is Praveen, grabbing the h-pawn with check, taking the knight. So it's a knight and 3 pawns versus a rook. All right, now it's a knight and 2 pawns versus a rook. But it looks to me like the knight is going to prevail and support. Yeah, if once the pawn gets to a7, you can't stop the queen. So 2 pawns like that, check. You could even sack the queen for the rook there if you wanted to. I mean, maybe not. I was guessing. This is definitely probably cleaner, right? So that's good for Praveen. Praveen improves to 3 out of 3. And Chicago is a 1.5 away from winning. Here is, well, I just missed the result. Did I put in the draw for William and Raja? I guess not. Oh, man. So it's 3.5 to 7.5. This is a must win for Begim against a Wonder. And Begim is, oh, they're both low on time. Okay. But Begim is up on time compared. Check, rook has to block. Threatening rook takes rook, and then rook d7 check again, winning the knight. So you either have to move the knight, or you have to play rook to Oh, it liked rook e8. I was thinking rook f8 as well. So what's wrong with this? The rook is hit. Rook hits the pawn on f5. The king should move. 1 second for a wonder there. The a pawn is running. That's a check. If king takes, there was knight f4. Rook d6 looks like the only move. King aside. Rook check again. 2 seconds. c7 played. There's going to be a new queen. Begim going to keep Mizzou's hopes and dreams alive. She needs to win this game. And, oh my goodness, a wonder. Oh, knight. The knight was hit by the bishop, but a wonder is able to get the queen, but the second pawn is running down the board as well. So a wonder resigns. That's a wonder's first loss today. Begim leading this Mizzou team. She's 2 out of 3. And yeah, she's keeping Mizzou alive. So Mizzou, they need to sweep round 4. Are they going to do it? I don't think so. Chicago just needs 1 point in this 4th and final round. So, yeah, well done to Begim, taking down a wonder, keeping the hopes and dreams alive for the Mizzou team. The people in the chess.com chat are cheering on Begim, applauding her efforts. Timmy G, thanks for the follow. Let's see. Ooh, Crazy Girl with the 4-pawn opening. The connect 4 early on. Let's see how this ended. So the pawns were quickly dismantled. A piece sacrifice from a wonder. Getting the piece back, though. Every time a new game starts, I gotta go back. So yeah, it was just the pawns. Too many pawns. Crazy game. c7. Such a strong move, right? Opening up this. All right. 4th and final round underway. We've got Raja versus Praveen. So, yeah, if any Chicago player gets a draw, then they're at least guaranteed overtime. But they're gonna try to get the win here. Mizzou is in a must-win situation. Need to go 4-zip here for the comeback, the sweep comeback. Can they do it? If anyone could do it, it's the Mizzou team. We'll see. I mean, they've got 3 grandmasters and Begim, who is board 4, but she's leading the way with 2 points out of 3 so far. Luca is 0 for 3. He needs to get on the board. He's playing against... Oh, he already lost to Praveen. Here we've got a wonder versus Oparin. We've got to keep our eyes on this one. This is the match we've all wanted to see. We've got an open Sicilian. Top GM prep lines. So I think Oparin was literally 1 spot away from making candidates tournament, if that gives you any idea of how strong of a player he is. All right, pawn takes on e5. Knight takes e5 as a move, and it's been played. Hello, Braining, welcome. All right, bishop, breaking the pen. Knight takes, so giving up the bishop pair. Interesting things about this structure. We've got 3-on-2 majority for a wonder and a 4-on-3 majority for Oparin. I think the 3-on-2 structurally might be better in the long run. Might be easier to make a pass pawn that way. All right, so bishop e2 looking to castle king side. Oparin could castle queen side already if he wanted to. I don't. Oh, he does it. Okay. I was thinking not to do it because this king is a little bit more exposed for Oparin on an open c file. So whenever there's opposite side castles, there's always guaranteed sparks to fly. So we start with c3. Wonder wants to play for b4 and launch the pawns to attack. He wants to dislodge the knight and take on a7. Bishop here I feel like is a good move. But instead, bringing the knight out, maybe going to go here to attack the bishop. All right, let's look at Praveen versus Raja. So Praveen, he's the only player that's perfect so far. He's 3 for 3. But hold up, let's look at this position real quick. Can Raja extinguish Praveen's flame? Let's look at how it's going so far. We had a Fiend Keto Knight temporarily and a piece sacrifice from Raja, followed by pawn takes f7. The king doesn't take. If king takes, there is queen check or something. I don't know. Or who knows? I figured there's queen block to try to save the thing, but then like knight check, there's got to be some issues. So the queen goes to f5 anyways, attacking this knight. So Praveen is up a bishop right now, but his king might die. So that's the trade-off. It's not great. I feel like even rook here just looks really good. Like, I don't know. What was up with that? Oh, the queen was hit. The knight on f4 hits the queen. So the queen moves. Rook goes to e8 anyways, attacking the rook. So the rook has to move where it's defended, but you can't take allowing another queen. Knight here, that's just checkmate on the spot. Knight has to come back. But, hello. What's going on over here, folks? Nothing good, I'll tell you that much. Knight here looks really good. Raja looks to win this one, so that's going to stop Praveen. How's Luca doing? Luca is 0 for 3 right now. Song. He's got 2 draws out of 3 games. Another draw out of him would be pretty good. This position seems to be holding up even. How's Kapil doing against Bagim? Bagim is Mizzou's point leader right now. Don't let her on board 4 fool you. She's been outplaying and outperforming her teammates and the Chicago players. So Kapil has his work cut out for him. Kapil was 2 for 2, got his first loss in the last round, looking to bounce back here in round 4 where it matters, to try and keep the hopes of the match alive, I guess. I really do think it's possible that Mizzou could get a comeback here, get a sweep. So let's see. How's Oparin doing against a Wonder? A Wonder is up on time. Classic. He's pushing the B pawn. So it looks to me that in this opposite side castles game, Oparin is getting hit first. And opposite side castles games, they're always about the momentum, right? It's about the tempo. It's who hits first. And looks like a Wonder has made the first contact. The king on b8, it's not as safe as the king on g1. So a Wonder's looking good here. He's continuing the pawn storm. This knight has to move. Goes back to c7. The bishop on b6, very short on squares. We might see like a queen move and the a pawn start start launching. So, okay, the bishop was under attack. Bishop moves. Now the knight's under attack. So the knight's going to move. And Oparn's going to try to trade off this bishop. But yeah, very passive setup for black, unfortunately. This could be the game that wins the match for Chicago. By none other than a wonder. Looks like Begim is really up on the clock here against Kapil, but we saw Kapil can play in time pressure. We've seen it before. Okay, Begim's rook is hit. Can she take this pawn? Maybe not. Maybe this pawn is pinned, right? The rook would be hanging at the end. So the rook should move, right? No, pawn takes. All right, opening up this attack. What's going on here? Can we go like knight d6? Is that a thing? Probably not. What about queen e3? Hitting the knight as well. Under 20 seconds for Kapil. All right, he's hitting the knight. Knight d5 looks sensible, reasonable, playable. There's a check. Very low time. The game's going to try to see if she can make anything out of that time pressure. Luca as well has William under the clock. So yeah, I think if there's any game, it's going to be a wonder to win. This one we have resigned. So Raja gets a much needed point, taking down Praveen for the first time in the match. All right. Kapil under 10 seconds. His knight has to move. Is the rook on e4 hanging? What is going on here? Oh, it's pinned. The rook is pinned. Okay, so Kapil initiates the trade. He pins the pawn again. So the pin is broken. The knight moves. This would be the craziest comeback I've ever seen. A 4-0 sweep to end it. The knight's hit. I don't believe it. I think Chicago's going to clinch, man, but it's just so close. Okay, queen over. What's going on? Begim wants to just open up this king like a can of worms. Let's see, does she gambit? Does she full send? She's getting the other pawn involved. Knight here, hitting both. This looks good for Kapil, actually. Begim might be squandering her time advantage here, right? Knight f3, very sensible move. Okay, pawn push, takes. Computer not liking this. Another pawn push. Very interesting. So the knight's got to move. Knight hitting this pawn, but black could take here as well. What is going on, you guys? Yeah, pawn takes. The e pawn falls. Doubling here. The queen should move. Hitting the knight. Now Mizzou, they're allowed one draw. They can allow a draw. This knight is very pinned. Let's look at a wonder versus Oparn. How is this shaking out? They're both under a minute. Okay, the queen is hit. And if queen takes here, what do we have? Like bishop here? Queen takes here. Wait, hold on. Now we can take here. Uh-oh. This might be it. Queen steps back, but this should win a piece. Okay, I guess it's a trade of pieces. Oh, but then that's hit now. Oh my goodness. That's going to win a piece. That's just straight up going to win. This is intermezzo. Take with check. Take here. The rook is hit. This is hanging though, so I'm confused. Okay, that's hit. That's a good move. What about rook here? Oh, and then the knight comes with check. Oh, it's a fork of forks. That's going to do it. Oparin resigns, and that's the match. Wow. I knew Oparin would convert that. That was a good finish. Let's see how the rest of the games go. So with that, Wonder officially wins with his phone on its last percentage. He's getting some victory sushi right now. Luca's looking good. Both players under 5 seconds. But Luca's up a ton of pawns. And how's Kapil doing? Dude, Begeem is crushing. Wow. In the final round, a Wonder gets the only point to ensure the win. What a clutch. And how close, dude. How close. I knew it wasn't over. That's insane. Oparin, if he had drawn or won, he could have forced overtime or even won the match after being down 4 points in the final round. That is wild. So Luca gets his first win, but too little too late for the Mizzou team. And yeah, looks like Begeem is going to convert this one. She's got a ton of pawns about to promote. Kapil, of course, is going to try to play for a draw, right? It is a draw. After that, oh my goodness. I mean, these things are crazy. Oh, now it's losing. Okay. Crazy how that works. Okay. This pawn was with check, but yeah. Wow. There was a perpetual there somewhere, but not to be. Yeah. Queen check. That's going to be mate. Force the queens off. Yeah, resigns. Okay, so Begeem, she goes 3 out of 4. A very good score for her, or just for anyone against the Chicago team. But holy smokes, folks. 7.5 to 8.5, as close as it gets. Literally one game in the 4th round. This a Wonder versus Oparin game right here. This was the game deciding match. Crazy. A Wonder getting the job done in the final round. The 1 point they needed. Very clutch. Wow. All right. What a game. That is awesome. And I hope to see more matches like this later on in the season, especially in the playoffs. And I know Mizzou, they're gonna take this loss in stride. They're gonna come back bigger and stronger. They've always been like this, where maybe they don't put their best players out in the regular season, but they show up when it counts in the playoffs. So yeah, but Chicago, I mean, such a phenomenal team, such a talented team. They showed up today in full force, full strength, and they set the tone. That first round, 3.5 to a half. They weren't messing around. Also, I forgot that this knight was covering this, so I guess it wasn't really a fork of forks, but it was just too much for Oparin to handle. So yeah, awesome game. Thank you all for being here and watching. I really appreciate it. So yeah, that's it for today. We don't have any more matches to cover. We do have some matches tomorrow. At 8 a.m. Pacific, we have another Titan matchup, UT Dallas versus Yale. So UT Dallas and Yale, they both haven't won the Collegiate Chess League yet. Yale's definitely made the semifinals. UT Dallas, this is, I believe, their first season playing in full force. So going to be exciting to watch them play against a seasoned veteran team like Yale. Of course, Yale's got Grandmaster Nicholas Cheka, and UT Dallas has some Grandmasters of their own. So we're going to tune in and watch that tomorrow morning. Also, don't forget, we have our weekly Sunday Arena. We took a bye week last weekend, so we're going to be back, and I have some exciting news. The signed Danny Wrench hat, we're going to be basically giving that away randomly based off of the weekly arena. So we're going to draw school names in the hat that are part of our college ambassador program, exclamation point cap in the chat. And essentially, how you do on the season standings for the weekly arena will determine how many chances you have at winning the hat. So if you're in the top like 5, we'll give you like a bunch of names in the hat. If you're on the list at all, you'll get at least 1 entry, so you'll have a chance at least. But yeah, if you want to see the standings of the arena points, check out the roster. There's a tab for it. You still give a prize for most arena wins. Yes. So we have our weekly prizes. We have the top 5 clubs get a membership. And at the end of the season, the top overall teams will get additional memberships. As well as, like I said, the drawing for the signed Danny Rynch hat. So lots of stuff to compete for in the weekly Sunday arenas. That's going to be 11 a.m. Pacific. So hopefully you guys will join. And I'll see you all tomorrow. So yeah, stick around. We'll find someone to raid. Thanks again. This was an incredible match. Congrats to UChicago on narrowly defeating the very talented Mizzou team. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. for EL versus UT Dallas. You don't want to miss it. And don't forget, we've got our weekly Sunday arena as well. So I will have that link set up and ready to go by tomorrow. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Take care and stick around for this raid. Appreciate you.